Hey y'all, Deanna Pierce here. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for taking some time out to tune in with me today. Before I get into that, let me say welcome to anyone who is new to my channel. My name is Deanna Pierce and I appreciate you being here and tuning in with me today. I share tips when it comes to looking and feeling your best naturally on camera, and I also help petite models break into the industry the right way. I'm all about sharing tips and resources to help you do it the right way. And for any of y'all that are tuning back into my channel, I want to say what's up. Thank you so much for coming back and tuning into my channel. If you're subscribed, I appreciate you so much. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this topic today, where we are going to be talking about how you can deal with a difficult photographer. Okay, so today's video was requested by one of my subscribers, so I wanted to make sure, and I thought it was a really good question that she asked me. She said, Deanna, how do you deal with a difficult photographer? And I was like, oh, number one, I hope nobody has to deal with a difficult photographer. That really sucks. Especially if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in terms of being a model on set. But I know that sometimes it does happen. So today's video is going to be for you. I want to talk about how you can deal with a difficult photographer. So let's get right into this topic today. Okay. If you do find yourself in a situation to where you're dealing with a difficult photographer, first things first is always remain professional. What I mean by that, always be respectful and use common courtesy. If you start to see that maybe the photographer is not being respectful or is not giving common courtesy on things that are reasonable, then I say automatically start to drift away from that conversation and do not go ahead and do business with this person. Now, if you have tried to come back and, resolve the situation and be respectful, maybe it was a misunderstanding, you can say, hey, I completely understand. Thank you so much for your reply. Thank you so much for replying back to me. Do you mind explaining this a little bit more? It is all about how we respect people in the conversation. And this person, the subscriber, she didn't tell me exactly what happened. So I'm just using some scenarios that I could probably think that possibly did happen. And therefore it can fit for anyone who may be dealing with a difficult photographer. So always remain professional. That is one thing I live by. If you treat someone with respect, they will give you respect back. 9 times out of 10. The thing about that is you want to make sure that you are being respectful up front in everything that you do. And if you start to find that someone is not being respectful, that is when you can kind of withdraw a little bit and say, hey, I'm going to go do business with someone else because this isn't going to work out quite right. Tip number 2, record your conversations. Majority of the time, our conversations that we have start on social media. It may be a comment, it may be a direct message, and then it probably will lead over to, an email. Make sure you keep those emails just in case something down the line, or maybe someone forgot they said a particular thing, and you can say, oh, well, excuse me, oh, well, in this email that I emailed you on such and such a day, you did state this, here it is right here, that kind of thing. So you always want to keep a record just so you can kind of be able to reference. It may be something that you say, oh, I completely forgot that they did tell me, to show up at 11 o'clock. I didn't know, I sincerely apologize, blase. Keeping a record really protects you. That way, if you ever need to reference something and say, okay, hey, this is why I stopped dealing business, you have those words. So make sure you're recording your stuff. Don't just delete it. And, because if you start to see that it's getting to be kind of like an icky situation, you want to make sure that you have something to reference. So make sure you record your conversations. Number 3, never, ever agree to something that you are not comfortable with. I'm going to take it there. Because we are living in a world that sometimes everybody does not have our best interests at heart. It's our responsibilities to make sure that we show up and we have our ethics and our morals in check, and we know what it is that we will do and we know what it is that we will not do. So if you ever find yourself in a situation to where the fact that the photographer is asking you to do something that you do not agree with. And usually it's that little voice will automatically click in and say, hey, this isn't right. Hey, this makes me feel uncomfortable. Hey, I don't like doing this. Hey, this isn't a good idea. Listen to that voice. Honor that voice, and never do something that you are not comfortable with. If the photographer is emailing you or messaging you, say, hey, or they're sending you, some shots. Let me give you a better example here. Say for instance, a photographer reached out to you, or you reach out to the photographer. Y'all start communicating. Y'all start, hey, I'm looking for, to shoot. They say, awesome. Hey, here's the date. Okay. And you say, hey, what is some inspiration that you're looking to shoot? So if the photographer reaches out to you first, you want to ask the photographer what they are looking to shoot. When you ask for that information, tell them to send you some inspirational photos so you can just have a vision of what they may look like. If you have reached out to the photographer, you need to have some inspirational photos to send to that photographer. Okay, so say for instance you've done that. You have these photos and you look at those photos and you say, nope, that's not what I want to have in my portfolio. That's not what I'm going for. Say for instance it's lingerie. Maybe it's bikini. Maybe it's nude artistry. Maybe it's something that's very explicit. And that is not what you want to do for your modeling career. That is not something you want to have in your modeling portfolio. Do not do it. Okay? That keeps us away from a difficult conversation, and it even protects you not to even show up on set and this photographer, you already know what that photographer is expecting. You're like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? So it just avoids all of that. Make sure you're prepared before you go on shoot, and never do something that you're not comfortable with. Which leads me on to my next thing. If you are a minor in whatever state that you are in, always have an adult with you. I don't give a darn rat's but what that photographer says. If you are a minor in your city, find your laws and things like that, because it's different in different states. Some states you are considered an adult at the age of 17. Some states you're considered an adult at the age of 18. Whatever city you are in, and I'm so serious about this, y'all. Whatever city you are in, look up the law and see at what age you become an adult versus a minor. If you are a minor, I want you to always have an adult with you, okay? Regardless of what that photographer says, if that photographer has an issue with you showing up with your adult, your mom or your father, or them being, they can even sit out in the car while you're doing your photo shoot, you know what I'm saying? Or they can sit in another room while you're doing your photo shoot. I don't care where they are. I just want them to make sure they are there with you, because that is so important. If you have a photographer that is not willing to honor that and they want to do this thing illegally, do not work with them. I don't care how good their photography is. I don't care how many followers they have on Instagram. I do not care. Because if they are willing to do something illegal, which is allowing you to show up to a photo shoot and you're a minor, I don't want to do business with you. And you shouldn't either. That allows you to just stay away from difficult situations like that. And it really shows that you are thinking and you're smart. And you're saying, hey, I know the laws, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Hey, if you don't, if you're not, the photographer isn't comfortable with me having an adult supervision while I'm there, thank you so much for the opportunity, but I'm going to have to pass. There are so many other photographers out here, y'all, that have amazing work, that have amazing work ethic, that are respectable, that know the rules, that know the laws, and they are more than excited to follow those rules and those laws, and they are more than excited to make sure you feel comfortable on set. Do not get in a situation, and I know I'm going deep in this one, but I'm so serious about this, y'all. Do not get in the situation to where you feel like you're obligated to work with somebody to get experience, to get, photos, and you are willing to risk following the laws. It's not worth it. I'm telling you, it's not. Do the right thing so you don't have to worry about dealing with a difficult situation like that. All right? Okay. I'm going on. All right, y'all. Last but not least, Communicate effectively. So make sure you're communicating what it is that you're expecting from your photo shoot, you know, what your availability is. Keep an open dialogue with the photographer, so therefore there is no issue with communicating and that photographer knowing exactly what you're expecting out of the photo shoot and what you're willing to do and things like that. A lot of times, you know, situations arise or a miscommunication arises just because we're not communicating fully and effectively. Always have your stuff ready to go, your inspirational looks, you know when you're available, know if you're going to have transportation to the photo shoot, things like that. So therefore there's no miscommunication with that photographer, so therefore they know everything they can expect and you know everything that you can expect from that photographer. Because what I don't want to happen is there's a miscommunication somewhere along the lines and then that photographer ends up, you know, getting upset because they missed another meeting or something like that. So make sure you're just courtesy, you know, make sure you are courteous and respectable, and just keep that open line of communication in terms of knowing what it is that you're willing to do, and that way the photographer can know and y'all can come to a wonderful agreement for a wonderful photo session. Alright y'all, so that's all that I have for you today in this video. I hope that you found this information to be very helpful. If you did, one click, give me a thumbs up. If you really liked it, go ahead, another click, and subscribe to my channel. I am Deanna Fears. Sharing is caring. If you know someone that can use this information and you found it helpful, please feel free to share it with them. You can also follow me on Instagram at Deanna Fears. You can check out my website as well, themodelingstandard.com. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.